Hello everybody, my name is James, hope you're doing well and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about more updates following the McLaren team orders in Italy. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Formula 1 content. Also make sure to follow me on X at James's Pit Lane, I'll leave a link in the description, but let's jump straight into the video. Now, as you can see, I am recording this video in a different place to usual. I am currently on my honeymoon, but I have been given full permission to make videos and I'll aim to do as many as I can while I'm out here. But let's jump into what happened with McLaren. Now, as we know, during the race, Lando Norris was in P2, Oscar Piastri was in P3, but Norris and McLaren agreed to let Piastri pit first to ensure he was at no threat of an undercut from Charles Leclerc. Now, when Piastri pitted, the gap between himself and Norris was around 3.4 seconds, but when Norris pitted, he had a very slow stop. There was an issue tightening his wheel, and when Norris came out the pits, Piastri was in front of Norris, but Piastri was told to let Norris through. And Piastri complied with that order, with him letting Norris through at the start of that 49. And while he was free to race Lando after that, he could not get back past his teammate, meaning Norris finished the race in P2 and Oscar finished the race in P3, and as a result, Piastri's lead in the championship has come down to 31 points instead of being extended to 37. Now, one person who's had their say on this incident is Mercedes team boss Toto Wolff. As we know, all those years ago, he had a similar situation between Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg between 2014 and 2016, with Mercedes having the best car and their drivers fighting for the title. And now Wolff has admitted he's intrigued to see how things develop over the rest of this season, with him saying, as quoted by Sky F1, "There's no right and there's no wrong. I'm curious to see how that ends out. You set a precedent that is very difficult to undo. What if the team does another mistake? Do you switch them around? But then equally, because of a team mistake, making a driver that is trying to catch up lose the points is not fair either. I think we're going to get our response of whether there was right today towards the end of the season when it heats up." Now, as we know with McLaren, they have the dominant car in 2025, and while their drivers are fighting for the title, it's very clear that McLaren are going to win the constructors' standings, and it was similar with Mercedes all those years ago. You know, between 2014 and 2016, Hamilton and Rosberg fought very hard for the title, but at the same time, it was always very clear that Mercedes were going to win the constructors' titles in all of those years. And speaking about this, Wolff went on to say, "I think if I look at our situations, because I'm not in their shoes of McLaren, back in the day, we had a gap where a constructors' championship is guaranteed and you just let them race. But within the spirit, you race fair and square but don't touch. If you touch, then we take control. That's what I would have done in 2016, rather than trying to overmanage with our racing intent. We had two different animals in the car in Lewis and Nico. They were two assassins, fierce combatants that took no prisoners, racing against each other. At times, it was very difficult to bench for the team. I don't see that at McLaren." Now, for me, I do respect the fact that McLaren are trying to make this title fight as fair as possible. I just think the call on Sunday was just that bit much. I think at the end of the day, if Piastri had pitted first and then Norris had pitted, but he had not had a slow stop, it was a similar stop, and Piastri had come out ahead of Norris, it would have been fair to reverse the two cars, but Norris had a slow stop. I don't think Piastri should have been told to give the position back. I just think that's part of racing. And McLaren team principal Andreas Stella says there will be a review of the principles with the drivers as part of their ongoing foundation of pursuing excellence, with Stella saying, as quoted by Sky F1, "If you think that whatever you're doing is good, and you are not going to have an individual or a team review of anything you do, even the things you do perfectly, simply you're not going to progress. For me, reviewing doesn't mean like, oh, certainly we'll have to change it. Potentially we will review them and we'll further align on them and we will conform them. So the fact that I use this word doesn't mean that there will be changes. The fact I use this word means that's how we approach things at McLaren in this review, which is so essential in engineering, in operation, does apply as well in the way you go racing and does apply in the way you go racing with your drivers. But that's going to be the video from me today. Thank you ever so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos, and until the next one, take care. Bye.